Yo, what is up, guys? The Last of Us on HBO is finally here. Us fans of the Last of Us game and Naughty Dog, we've been waiting for years. Apparently, there's gonna be rumblings of a movie adaptation. Apparently, it was gonna be directed by Sam Raimi and all that. Luckily, it didn't work out because it seemed like this was for the better. Neil Druckmann, the creator, decided to hit up Craig Mazin after seeing Chernobyl and decided to make The Last of Us, his hit video game, a TV show. If you don't know, The Last of Us is based on a video game originally released on the PlayStation 3 back in 2013. Now, the show is set 20 years after an outbreak of a cordyceps fungus that turns people into mutated freaks. Now, us hardcore fans will tell you that these infected are not zombies. The infected in The Last of Us are not dead people. They are living people who have been turned by the fungus. Anyways, the show follows Joel and Ellie. Now, Ellie is immune, and Joel has to transport her to the Fireflies, who will try and find a cure for humanity. I myself has been a fan of Naughty Dog since Uncharted. I've played all the Uncharted games and both Last of Us games. Luckily, it seems like this show will turn out way better than Uncharted. I will be spoiling this episode and comparing it to the game, but I'll try not to spoil anything beyond what was covered here in episode 1. The original Last of Us game wasn't just a good video game story, it was a good story in general. Now, The Last of Us Part 2 really divided the community, and for some reason, people get really toxic talking about it, but I'll say this. Naughty Dog knew what they were doing, they knew this was going to happen, so let's just save all that for Season 2. If Season 2 is as faithful as what we see here in episode 1, that debate is going to be inevitable, it's going to be waiting for us on the horizon. But for now, let's just focus on what we have right here. Episode 1 really seems like a universally loved first episode. Now, the show opens with a talk show segment with scientists, or rather, epidemiologists. Hopefully, pronounced that right. But they were talking about how the fungus works, and I'm glad they opened with this because that is one of the talking points of what happens at the end of the first game. Whether you can really develop a vaccine, but still, whether the characters in the show know that, we don't know, and how they're going to try to find a cure despite a vaccine not working for fungus, that's all up in the air. After that cold open, it's basically just like the game. It's literally a mirror image. I mean, just look at these screenshots. Everything feels super faithful. It is almost identical to the game. Just like the game, it opens at September 26, Austin, Texas, but this time it's 2003 instead of 2013. And we follow Sarah's perspective, just like the game. But now with the TV show format, we get new context and the gaps in the story are filled in for us. We get more context like the neighbor next door and the town of Austin, Texas. I really love the scene where Sarah was looking at the DVD shelf and in the background you see Mrs. Adler start tweaking.
Like in her box right there, she said, like, I swear, what the fuck was that? She moving like Mr. Game and Watch.
Also, I want to take a second to compliment the sound design. I have a modest little soundbar set up with 2 rear speakers. And apparently there's supposed to be up-firing speakers. And it's supposed to simulate like there's overhead sound. Now, it doesn't always work because my ceiling isn't exactly flat. But for sure, this show, it was working. I mean, it really felt like the helicopters were flying overhead, just like a typical day in Los Angeles. And then once we get to the Children of Men type driving sequence, it was just straight World War III in my living room. Hopefully I don't get a noise complaint one of these Sundays. The audio is just crazy in this episode. I expect more of that coming down the line. I think what this episode did so well was show other perspectives and different contexts without feeling unnecessary. Also, there's a lot of bar for bar similarities to the game, but there's also small changes here and there, and it just makes more sense in this context. For example, in the show, Joel tries to get a car battery so he can get to Tommy because he hasn't heard from him in a while. But in the game, it's just they needed guns.
I just want to
The
say...
guns. You want to tell us where the guns are?
I think all around, the performances were spot on. I think Pedro Pascal as Joel is just perfect casting. Diego Luna as Tommy sounds exactly like Tommy in the game.
That's Lewis's farm. I hope that sumbitch made it out.
God, it's Jimmy's place.
Heck, the voice of Marlene is Marlene, and Anna Torv as Tess, and Bella Ramsey as Ellie. From the little that we do see her, she very much acts like Ellie. I'm really anticipating these next episodes to really see what Bella Ramsey could pull off here. But overall, everyone was great. Everyone just acts like how their character in the game would act. A sigh of relief. It feels like we're in good hands here. And I don't want to judge the whole show by this one episode, so we're going to wait till the very end to see how the whole series is. But from beginning to end, I love where the show is going. It ends at the right part. It gets Sarah's part out of the way because that's not the real main part of the story. The real heart of the story is Joel and Ellie, and we end it with their connection already being established. For our first episode, they did what needed to be done. They introduced us to this world and its characters. I'm looking forward to more surprises, more things we haven't seen in the game. The frame for frame similarities to the game is cool, but I don't want the whole show to be like that. But they've already proven in this first episode it probably won't be like that. They for sure are going to surprise us down the road, and I'm looking forward to all of that. It feels like this show is going to follow the first game's footsteps, where there's universal love and acclaim from both critics and audiences. So that about wraps up my thoughts on the first episode. Not too many complaints. I don't know if I'll make a video for every episode, but I would love to talk about the show after every episode. So make sure to hit me up on social media. I'll put it somewhere. But yeah, until then, let's just live in the moment. Let's just enjoy what we have right now. I think it's a beautiful thing that we all get to experience this wonderful journey together and have great conversations about it afterwards. Let's just keep doing that and just have fun with it. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys next time.